Hello everyone, Genki here. When Scarlet and Violet first came out, my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon shifted from the adorable Palmy to the equally adorable but gremlin Tinkaton. I love its huge hammer. I love its dex entry. It's just amazing. However, today is not about Tinkaton. Today is about the baby, Tinkatink. Tinkatink, just like its evolution, is Fairy Steel. One of the better defensive typings in the game, with 9 resistances, 2 immunities, and only 2 weaknesses. However, here are Tinkatink's stats. A less than 300 base stat total makes it weaker than a first form starter, but what Tinkatink has going for it is that all of its stats minus special attack are about equal. It's not a glass cannon, but also it's not an absolute tank. For moves, by level up, we get plenty of fairy moves, but only a couple steel moves. By TM, we get some more type diversity, but have to list the status moves. For the rules, I can only use Tinkatink in battle. No items in battle, only held items and items outside of combat are allowed. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's begin. We start our journey from when we get Miraidon, because we can take Miraidon back to the tutorial area and jump this ledge. Pokemon in this area will be on the higher side when it comes to levels, but not too high, so make sure to avoid them. However, if you go towards these ruins overlooking the tutorial area, a Tinkatink will spawn. It's level 20, which is within our catching level cap with no badges. I decided to name her Rattles. She's Terra Fairy. I was kinda hoping for Steel. She's careful nature, so minus special attack plus special defense. One of the better natures for Tinkatink, I think, since it raises our highest stat and lowers our lowest stat. Rattle's ability is own tempo, so she can't be confused or intimidated. Well, with Rattles already at level 20, I picked up the TM for Rock Tomb and immediately challenged the Bug Gym. Nimbles was surprisingly a 2 KO, and so was Tarantula. But we were still in Green Hill for Teddiursa. Teddiursa didn't survive the crit, so it was also a 2 KO. I decided to head towards the Grass Gym next, but on the way we did some training. No sandwich this time, so we battled what naturally spawned. We then challenged Claw. 3 Metal Claws easily end phase 1. During phase 2, Rattle's Metal Claw and Shelter's Water Gun were doing about the same amount of damage, but then Shelter used Leer. Also, we activated Claw's Anger Shell, which lowered its defense again. Metal Claw finishes off Claw. Time for the Grass Gym. Petalil missed its first turn Sleep Powder, and its Mega Drain did very little damage, so it was a 3 KO. Smoliv chipped at us with Razor Leaf, but it was also a 3 KO. Sudowoodo is last, and it has a beefy defense stat, so we went for Draining Kiss, which didn't do that much damage. We then went for Baby Doll Eyes twice, to lower its attack stat before going back to Draining Kiss. I decided not to Terastallize because our steel typing is making Sudowoodo's Trailblazes do half damage. 6 total Draining Kisses take out Sudowoodo. Next up is our next Titan, Bombardier. Again, steel resists flying, so we don't Terastallize as we take out phase 1 Bombardier and 5 Draining Kisses. For phase 2, Natalie's rock moves are doing more damage than Rattle's Draining Kiss, so we take out Bombardier in 3 turns. Next, I decided to try the Team Star Dark Base. But first, we need 2 more Pokemon. In the Asado Desert, there are ruins like back where we found Rattles, and at these ruins, there's a chance to catch a Tinkatuff and another Tinkatink. With a Tink team in the party, we plow through the Dark Base and on the Giacomo. However, we need another super effective move than Draining Kiss and Rock Smash. So I came back to Giacomo after teaching Rattles the TMs for Reflect and Play Rough, and getting leftovers. We start the battle by setting for Reflect, before taking out Giacomo's Poniard and 2 Rock Smashes. We then Terastallize against the Starmobile, which allows us to take it out in 4 Play Roughs. Now, I know you are going to be surprised by this, but I decided to skip the Team Star Fire Base. And instead, it's time to do some grinding, because next is the battle of Nemona. Rockruff survives Metal Claw and Red Health, but then it only goes for Howl. It goes down, and next is Palmy, who is a one-shot with Play Rough. Last is Quaxwell. Our Play Rough does a third of Quaxwell's health and gets an attack drop, but Quaxwell goes for Water Pulse, a special move, and it gets a crit. We Terastallize and takes Quaxwell to red health, but then on the next turn, we missed our Play Rough, which causes us to lose the battle. Now, I don't remember why I didn't reset the challenge Nemona, but her battles are not required to win, so I'm not going to be paranoid about this. Time for the Electric Gym. Rock Tomb 2-shots Watch Roll, but then Turret Boosted Play Rough only does a third of Bellybolt's health, leading us to go down to Luxio. To beat Iono, we concocted a weird strategy, or should I say a special strategy. Rattles cannot learn any defense lowering status moves. However, it can learn a special defense lowering status move, aka Fake Tears. So with Fake Tears and Draining Kiss in our moveset, we make it back to Bellybolt. We start by setting Reflect, before going for a single Fake Tears, cutting Bellybolt's special defense in half. Terra Boosted Draining Kiss does over half of Bellybolt's health, so it goes down the next turn. Luxio is also 2 KO with Draining Kiss, and lasts Miss Magius. We go for a single Fake Tears, before taking out Miss Magius in 3 Draining Kisses. Next is Earthworm, and for this battle, we still kept with the special set. After setting up Reflect, we went for Fake Tears. Thankfully, Earthworm has only gone for Wrap and Headbutt. Draining Kiss did only a little damage, so we used another Fake Tears. Draining Kiss then got a crit, taking Earthworm to below half health. Our Reflect then wore off, but 2 more Draining Kisses finished phase 1. Against phase 2, we of course set up Reflect, before going for a single Fake Tears. Toad School's Grass Knot and Flash Cannon then chipped away at Earthworm's health. Grass Knot finishes off Earthworm. I decide to head towards our next gym, but on the way, I found the location for the Swords Dance TM. This is going to help so much. Now, let's try it out on the Water Gym. Having access to Swords Dance was not an instant run saver. It took some strategizing. We start the battle by setting up Reflect, despite Veluza liking to use Aqua Cutter, a move with a high crit rate. We then set up 3 Swords Dances. Thankfully, we did not get crit. Play Rough then one-shots Veluza and Walktrio. However, we're at 20 HP. Last is Carbuncle, who is thankfully a one-shot. Next is the normal gym, but we are not ready. Komala's Yawn is making it hard to set up, as is the Dunsparce's Glare. At level 44, we start by setting up as Komala goes for Slam. I decide to keep using leftovers. We go for Baby Doll Eyes, lowering Komala's attack as it uses Yawn. We get in 1 more Baby Doll Eyes before falling asleep, but Kamala's attack stat is now halved. However, as we were asleep, Kamala got crit, bypassing our Reflect and attack drops. After 2 turns, we wake up from our sleep and we have to set back up Reflect. We then set up a Swords Dance and another Baby Doll Eyes before Kamala then puts us back to sleep. No crits this time, but again, our Reflect had worn off. The next few turns were the same as the last, but just note, as we woke up, we Terastallize and one-shot Kamala. The Dunsparce is also a one-shot and lost his Staraptor. We go for Baby Doll Eyes to lower the power of Staraptor's Facade. Baby Doll Eyes is a priority move, so Staraptor outspeeds the next turn, but Player Off one-shots. Immediately following the gym is another Nemona battle. All of Lycanroc's attacks are resisted, so we are able to set up Reflect and 2 Baby Doll Eyes with no worry before setting up 2 Swords Dances. Player Off one-shots Lycanroc. Hummel paralyzes us with Thunder Wave, but is a one-shot. Gumi gets a couple of hits with Water Pulse thanks to bad paralysis luck, but we set back up Reflect before one-shotting Gumi. Last is Quackaball, but we get paralyzed, so Aqua Step finishes us off. If Gumi had not done so much damage, I feel we could have won. Okay, I feel it's finally time for the Team Star Fire base, and we immediately have a problem. Torkoal has 2 moves, Flame Wheel, which is super effective if we stay Steel type, and Clear Smog, which is super effective if we Terastallize. Clear Smog can also erase our Swords Dance attack buffs. To beat Mela, I had to get the team for Rock Slide. As usual, we start by setting Reflect, reducing the damage of Flame Wheel. We then terrestrialized instead of Sword Stance. Torkoal still thinks we were Steel type, so it used Flame Wheel. Rock Slide then gets a crit, which one-shots Torkoal. Last is the Storm Wheel, which is a 2 KO with Rock Slide. At this point in the challenge, I was confused on what to do next. I tried Iron Treads, but that didn't look promising, nor did the team start Poison Base. I eventually made my way to Alfornado to challenge the Psychic Gym. Against Farigiraf, we set Reflect in 2 Sword Stances, but then our Flare Up only leaves Farigiraf in red health, allowing it to set up its own Reflect. We set up one more Sword Stance, before resetting our Reflect and also setting up Light Screen. Farigiraf goes down the next turn. Ispathra, Gardevoir, and Florges are all one-shots. With 6 Badgers now, it's time for another Nemona battle. Similar to the last battle, Lycanroc has only resisted moves, but this time it also has Sand Attack, so we had Rattles hold the Clear Amulet to prevent accuracy drops. After 3 Sword Stances, Lycanroc is a one-shot, but our Reflect wore off. This allowed Palmont to do big damage with Spark before we could reset our Reflect. Palmont's next Spark leaves Rattles at 2 HP but is a one-shot. Sliggoo is also a one-shot, and last is Crocoball, who is also a one-shot. Next is the Ghost Gym, and this was a little weird. Okay, just for context, I recorded this before I made the Tauros video, which had a similar quirk. In the Tauros run, I used 2 Tauroses, resulting in double Intimidate, but in this battle, I used my other Tinkatink, which had Mold Breaker. I thought Rhyme was going to take out the other Tinkatink first since it was a lower level, but then both her Pokemon double Shadow Sneaked into Rattles, who I had set up Reflect. Well, because the other Tinkatink is still alive, it landed this Metal Claw, which does damage to Mimikyu. Mold Breaker ignores Disguise. I decide to terrestrialize Rattles, and again, Rhyme doubles into Rattles, who this turn one-shots Banette. I had the other Tinkatink use Rock Smash, which cannot hit Ghost. By terrestrializing Rattles, both Tinkatinks get an Omni Boost. Rhyme's next Pokemon is Houndstone, but it is a one-shot. I had the other Tinkatink go for another Metal Claw into Mimikyu, because at this point, fuck it. Last up is Toxtricity, who is a one-shot. Finally, on the last turn, Mimikyu attacks the other Tinkatink, who survives Shadow Sneak thanks to our defense buff. Our Play Rough also removes Mimikyu's Disguise. The other Tinkatink takes out Mimikyu. Last is the Ice Gym. We start by setting up Light Screen as Frostmoth used Tailwind. We then set up 2 Sword Stances as Frostmoth attempted to use Blizzard. It only hit once, by the way. We then set up Reflect on Frostmoth's last turn of Tailwind. Frostmoth and Beardick are both one-shots, but then Titan survives on a Sliver. It does sizable damage with Ice Spinner, but it goes down the next turn. Our Reflect didn't wore off as Altaria came out. It outspeeds and does big damage with Hurricane. Player F then leaves Altaria on the Sliver as well. Altaria's next Hurricane leaves Rattles on 1 HP, allowing us to take it out. That was close. Okay, now let's go try the Poison Base, again. Atticus starts with Skuntank, whose moves Rattles either resist or is immune to. This allows us to set up Reflect in 3 Sword Stances. Skuntank is a one-shot with Rock Tomb. Revavroom, who had been our issue before, is now a 2-shot with Rock Tomb. Milk is a one-shot with Stone Edge, which I went out and got for this battle. Last is Atticus' Storm Wheel. Stone Edge, while it has a whopping 100 power, is only 80% accurate, so we miss it twice. However, when Stone Edge finally lands, it does over half the Storm Wheel's health, allowing us to take it out with Rock Tomb. Next is Iron Treads. We start the battle by going for Reflect and 2 Baby Doll Eyes, before setting up 2 Sword Stances. 3 Play Roughs in Phase 1. During Phase 2, Iron Treads outspeeds first turn. It does 90 HP in damage with Iron Head before we could set up Reflect. However, Scoville then used Scary Face, so Iron Treads is now slower. We went for our same strategy of Baby Doll Eyes then Sword Stance, but when we went for play rough, it missed. And then Scoobulon got a crit with Fire Fang. When play rough lands, it does less than expected, so Iron Treads goes down to Scovilla. Last of the Titans is Dondozo, and we actually went back to a special set. We start as per usual with Reflect. We then go for one fake Tears and Drain a Kiss to get some health back before going for one more fake Tears. 2 Terror Boosted Drain Kisses in phase 1. For phase 2, we only go for one fake Tears before attacking. Thanks to using Tail Whip, Greedent's takedowns were doing about the same amount of damage, so 3 takedowns and 3 Draining Kisses take out Dondozo. Next is Tatsugiri. Wait a minute. Let's look at Rattles for a second. She's 1 inch away from drowning. Where's her floaty? Anyway, Tatsugiri goes first and uses Taunt on Rattles, which prevents us from setting up Light Screen. This means we can only go for Draining Kiss, which still does good damage. But once Taunt ends, we immediately set up Light Screen. Greedent goes down to its own recoil damage, but Tatsugiri is already at a fifth of its health. Tatsugiri then resets his Taunt the next turn, but 3 more Draining Kisses take out Tatsugiri. Time to go finish Team Star, starting with the Fairy base. As we set up Reflect, Azumarill tries to use Charm, but for this battle, I gave Rattles the Clear Amulet to negate negative stat changes. We then go for one Swords Dance before one-shotting Azumarill. Against Wigglytuff, we go for one more Swords Dance, as Wigglytuff hit us with Gyro Ball. Our Reflect wore off, so we use the next turn to reset it. Metal Claw one-shots Wigglytuff and Dash Button. Last is the Starbuilt, who is a 2 KO. Last is the Fighting Base. We decide to Terrestrialize first turn, as we set up Swords Dance. This causes Toxicroak's Brick Break to do half damage. It is a one-shot with Play Rough. Against Passimian, we go for Reflect as it hits us with Close Combat. Close Combat is Passimian's best move, so we're able to set up Swords Dance before going for Draining Kiss, which one-shots Passimian and restores us to full health. Annihilate and Lucario are one-shots, and last is the Starbuilt, which mistakenly goes for Shift Gear right before we one-shot it. Time for the Elite Four, and there is already an issue. Donphan has Sturdy, so it cannot be one-shot, and it has Earthquake, Iron Head, and Poison Jab. We eventually got this run at level 72. We start the battle by terrestrializing and setting up Light Screen. This is to minimize the damage of Whiscash's Earth Power. We then set up 3 Swords Dances before one-shotting Whiscash. Camerupt is a one-shot, but out comes Donphan. We set up Reflect, as Donphan takes us to half health with Poison Jab. As predicted, Donphan survives Play Rough, but thankfully Iron Head did not do that much damage, so Donphan goes down. Last are Dugtrio and Clodsire, who are both one-shots. Next is Poppy, and this is a nightmare. Poppy starts with Caparaja, who resists all of our good moves, and on top of that, knows High Horsepower and Heavy Slam. To battle Poppy, I both changed Rattle's Terra type to normal, and Hyper-trained Rattle's HP and attack stats. Hyper-training maxes out a Pokemon's IVs in a particular stat. IVs can be between 0 and 31, but Hyper-training makes them 31. In this case, we originally had 26 IVs in HP and only 6 IVs in attack, because our HP went from 200 to 205, but our attack went from 104 to 129. Now, let's go face Poppy. At level 85, we challenge Poppy with this moveset: Terra Blast, Rock Slide, Swords Dance, and Reflect. Terra Blast and Rock Slide are both resisted, but they are our best moves. We start the battle by terrestrializing and setting up Reflect. Heavy Slam still does sizable damage, but we're still able to set up 3 Swords Dances. Terra Blast leaves Caparaja on a sliver, as Heavy Slam leaves us in red health. Thankfully, we have leftovers. One more Terra Blast finishes off Caparaja. Next is Corviknight, the reason we have Rock Slide, because it is a one-shot. Bronzong survives Terra Blast, but it missed its in Headbutt, so it goes down the next turn. Against Magnezone, we went for Rock Slide to try to get a flinch, but instead we got lucky and Magnezone instead of light screened. It goes down the next turn and lasts Tinkatunk. Tire Blast only leaves Tinkatunk on a sliver of health, but then Tinkatunk goes for Gigaton Hammer, and we survive on only 16 HP. It goes down the next turn. Next up is Larry. Against Tropius, we go for Rock Slide first turn, but it only did half of Tropius' health. So the next turn we set up Swords Dance. We then got flinched by Air Slash twice in a row before finishing off Tropius. Altaria is a one-shot, and so is Staraptor. Last is Oricorio and Flamigo, who are both one-shots. Last of the Elite Four is Hassel. Noivern goes first and cuts our HP in half with Super Fang. We, on the other hand, set up Swords Dance. Noivern then went for Hyper Voice, which is barely any damage, so it is a one-shot play rough. Dragalge and Haxorus are also one-shots, but against Flapple, we set up a second Swords Dance, as Flapple set up Leech Seed. Flapple goes down to a one-shot, and last is Excalibur, who is also a one-shot. Finally, it's time for Gita. We changed out Leftovers for the Clear Amulet. This is so we can set up Swords Dance without worrying about the special defense drop from Espathar's Luminar Crash. However, Espather set up Reflect, so we go for our full 3 Swords Dances before setting up our own Reflect and one-shotting Espather. Avalugg is next, so we go for Rock Slide, which flinches Avalugg, allowing us to take it out in 2 hits. Veluza, Kingambit, Go-Go, and Glamora then proceed to all be one-shots. Next is our final battle with Emona. Against Lycanroc, we have to Terastallize to not be weak to Drill Run. However, Stone Edge can still do quite a bit of damage as we set up Reflect and Swords Dance. Play Rough one-shots Lycanroc, but then out comes our biggest problem, Palmont, who outspeeds and knows close combat. After many reattempts, we get back to Palmont at level 92, and we finally outspeed and take out Palmont with Play Rough. Against Earthworm, we have to reset our Reflect. We had managed to fully set up 3 Swords Dances against Lycanroc, so Earthworm was a 2KO with Terra Blast. However, we are in red health. The Dunsparce, Goodra, and Clockaval are thankfully all one-shots. That's one story done. Let's go face Director Clavel. We start by setting up 2 Swords Dances as Oranguru used Yawn, twice. However, we had a chest to bury, so we did not fall asleep. Terra Blast one-shots Oranguru and Abomasnow, but during Gyarados, we set up our final Swords Dance, before going back to our one-shot sweep of Clavel's entire team. Next is Penny. Her first Pokemon is Umbreon, so we easily set up 2 Swords Dances, before one-shot sweeping her entire team with Play Rough and Terra Blast. 2 stories done, and last is Arven. We start by Terastallizing and setting up Swords Dance. We Terastallize to reduce the damage of Greedent's Earthquake. We set up one more Swords Dance before taking out Greedent. The rest of Arven's team proceeded to all be one-shots. With this done, we can now go to Area 0, where we have to battle AI Turo. But we're having an issue, because Iron Moth outspeeds Rattles. We are at half health by the time we take out Iron Moth. Iron Thorns also survives our attack and takes us to 8 HP with Brick Break. We go down to Iron Juggalos. We return to Professor Turo at level 100. We now outspeed Iron Moth, and Terastallize while setting up Light Screen. We then set up 2 Swords Dances before one-shotting Iron Moth with Rock Slide. Iron Hands and Iron Thorns are both one-shots. We now outspeed Iron Juggalos, who's also a one-shot. Iron Bundle still outspeeds, but it is a one-shot, and last is Iron Valiant, who outspeeds and takes Rattles to 35 HP with Brick Break, but is a one-shot. We beat Pokemon Violet with Only Tinkatink. Thank you all for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.